Defects. Welcome to a new segment where we're going to bring you real sales data from a real comic shop for the best-selling and most pre-ordered comic books on New Comic Book Day. This data could show you whether you're on the right track with your New Comic Book Day purchases, or whether you missed something or you spent money in the wrong place. Sometimes they say the best way to predict the future is to look in the past. So hopefully the sales data every month can help you become a more educated New Comic Book Day buyer. So without further ado, let's get into the list. In this video, we're going to be dropping the top 5 sold books for the month of August 2023 and the top 5 pre-ordered books for September 2023, along with a few other honorable mentions. All this data and insight has been provided by the guys over at Comic Nation. Big shout out to my boys over there. So make sure you guys give them a shout out and a follow if you like this information. The links are going to be down in the description below. And also stay tuned because somewhere in this video, we're going to be giving out a $50 gift card to Comic Nation. So you got to watch because it could be anywhere in this video. All right. So J-Dose, why don't you start us off, brother?
All right, coming in with the honorable mention, Dwellings #1, Cover A from Omni Press. This was a $9.99 book by Jay Stevens, had massive order issues and allocation. Supply was pretty slim, and the book did trend over cover price. The amount of sales surprised Comic Nation because of the cover price and the indie publisher. Stories in this book were originally self-published using a crowdfunding method. The concept is basically horror meets those old Harvey comics. Execution is flawless in the opinion over at Comic Nation, and Comic Nation did alert customers this book may do well and offered reorders. That's what you get in a great comic book shop.
I like it. I like it. That's a cool cover too. So, all right. So number 5 on the list for August top sold comics is Night Terrors Night's End #1, the Neon Ink variant from DC Comics. It's the cover D from Porter. DC Comics published Neon Ink covers for the entire Night's Terror miniseries, prologue, and final issue. This was the final issue of Night Terrors. This crossover ran across all DC titles. FOC was 1 week prior to the other variants, which is interesting. So it was a different FOC. And for those of you that don't know what FOC is, that's final order cutoff. The first appearance of Dr. Hate, and he looks very cool. So guys, Superman, Wonder Woman, Deadman, horror, and a first appearance. That's number 5 in August.
Coming in at number 4, Void Rivals #1, the third print from Image Skybound Comics. This issue is the third printing of the first issue of the Energon universe. The cover art was original and had no incentives. Great cover in my opinion that features the Transformer Jetfire, and Energon is Transformers, G.I. Joe, and the Void Rivals if you didn't know. And it's also written by Robert Kirkman. 2 key characters make their first appearance in this issue, Darak and Solilla.
That's dope. I've heard a lot of good things about that.
Kirkman, bro.
Yep. Coming in at number 3, The Amazing Spider-Man #300 Facsimile Edition Foil Variant from Marvel Comics. Marvel foils do not have retailer discount like other comic books. The discount on these is only 16% off cover. That's why I like having Comic Nation give us the insight on these books, because you get that extra layer of detail from a comic shop, which most readers or even us wouldn't know, right? Many shops don't know this and sell them at a loss. Prices are all over the place because of this. This was originally a Mexican edition foil by La Mole. We all know the La Mole foils, right? Those things have been going hot. That was an expensive book. Buyer beware of foil exclusives for future famous covers. Publishers are not going to hesitate to reprint their own like they did here. This sold really well for Comic Nation, regardless of the high cost. People can't get enough of these. Just my opinion here. I think the message that you got as buyers, we have to, kind of have is that you got to be careful when overspending on those Lamole foils going forward, because it sounds like Marvel's just going to start reprinting these famous covers foil, and we've seen it a bunch of times now in the last couple months, and that's going to drop the price of those Mexican editions. So be careful.
Coming in at number 2, guys, a book that's my favorite on the list, and I'll definitely be picking up Immortal Thor number 1, the Cocolo variant from Marvel Comics. Now, this is a foil cover. Love him or hate him, this cover looks incredible in hand with the reflective lightning. Very impressive print Marvel did here. This book featured the only variant done by the interior artist Cocolo. Not only that, you're getting 2 first appearances in here of the Tyrannos, aka Utgard Thor and Utgard Loki. Beautiful, beautiful book, guys.
Not gonna lie, that's one of the best covers on the list. All right, rounding out the August top sales. Number 1, Amazing Spider-Man number 31, the main cover, guys. There is so much going on with this book, so strap in. This was the top seller by a mile. We got a ton of requests on New Comic Book Day for this issue, and they sold a ton of copies. This had a triple surprise. The spoiler variant was a negative space by JTC featuring the debut of Miss Marvel in her X-Men costume. Also has the debut of Mary Jane in her Jackpot costume. She got her powers in the Black Cat and Mary Jane series. What really shocked people is that Dan Slott wrote a backup story introducing Madame Monstrosity. She was teased by Marvel as the main villain in the upcoming Spider-Boy number 1. This was a surprise first appearance. Marvel knew that what they were doing here, they had an endless supply at their distributors that took forever to sell out. They set the cover price at $9.99. They knew people would want this book and took the bag. They also announced a second print that had FOC before it even released. So before the first print even released, the second print was already up for FOC. In the opinion of the boys over at Comic Nation, this is a publisher trying to get what they can out of the speculators market. Had this been a $3.99 book with a normal print run, I think it may have trended on a hot 10 list on release. So guys, a ton of information there, a lot of good insight from the boys over at Comic Nation. Just in my opinion, I think if you really believe in Spider-Boy, you're going to buy into this. You got to have this issue. But in my opinion on this book is kind of wait for the hype to die down. It may be good in the long run, and clearly this is going to be an expensive book in the short term. So I think it's that intermediate after the hype dies down and before that long-term, pop off. That's maybe when you could buy this book. Guys, as I mentioned earlier, the sponsor and curator of the data for this show are the guys over at Comic Nation, the world's finest comic shop. So what they do for us, they set up a code, Defects 10. It's going to give you 10% off your first order. Plus, they're going to throw in a free comic book with your order. Not just shitty one either. A recent key, a minor key, or some type of crazy cover. They promised me that. They said they were going to hook you guys up. They already take 15% off all comic books at FOC. So with that code, that's 25% off that first order, the entire order. Okay. They also do 5% cash back in Comic Nation currency on all orders that you could spend on future orders. So if you add that all together, that's 30% off your first order, guys. Now, what if you're not a first-time buyer? You could use the code DEFECTS, and that gets you 5% off your entire order for any order, for the entire month of September, along with the 15% off of VOC and the 5% Comic Nation currency. So you're still getting a ton if you're doing pre-orders with Comic Nation. These codes are good through September, but if you guys show the love, maybe they'll extend it for us. So head over to comicnation.us or check them out on Instagram and start your pull list today. Links are going to be in the description, boys and girls.
Now it's time for September's hottest selling pre-sales. Let's start it off. Honorable mention, Sonic the Hedgehog number 64, cover A, featuring Silver the Hedgehog, IDW Publishing. This is the Always Sunny in Philadelphia Charlie Kelly meme homage. Sonic surprised Comic Nation because it is selling this well. Video game comics are hot, guys. Check out our last video for more. Fans of both Sunny in Philadelphia and Sonic are not playing games.
Coming in at number 5, Superman number 6, cover A from DC Comics. Sales were strong for this after a dip with Night Terror's 2-issue Superman miniseries. This new villain set to make a first appearance was first teased at San Diego Comic-Con. Since Gunn's announcement and new creative team, Superman and Action Comics have been selling very well. Looks like first appearance of a villain named the Chain, possibly. I think that there's some hype. I like that there's some hype behind a Superman book and the character itself. I think James Gunn is doing a good thing here, trying to hype people up with this stuff. A good Action Comics, a good Superman makes for a good DC Comics.
Coming in at number 4, Ultimate Invasion number 4, the Maniple variant from Marvel Comics. The end of the 3rd issue introduced this new version of Kang that appears to be one of the Starks, most likely Tony. This whole story takes place in an alternate reality that the maker has altered to make his own version of the Ultimate Universe. It will be the new Ultimate Universe that Jonathan Hickman is introducing soon, so be on the lookout for that, guys. This variant looks cool and features the first cover appearance of a Kang Iron Man mashup and likely his first full appearance. Cover price was high, but the sales were strong at FOC. All right, Defects, time for that $50 giveaway from Comic Nation to be entered. You're going to type in hashtag Comic Nation in the comments and let us know what you're picking up for the month of September. The winner will be revealed the next top selling comic book day video, which is probably going to be in about a month. So good luck and let us know what you're buying. Hashtag Comic Nation.
Put it in the comments, boys and girls. Coming in at number 3, World's Finest, number 19, the cover C, Dan Mora, Nicolas Cage super variant. I mean, did we not see this coming? You already know Nicolas Cage fans are nuts. This is a must pick up for them. Sales for this did not surprise me. Remember Paul McCartney last year? That cover was Mora, but he was hidden at FOC. Nick Cage's cover here was not hidden. Guys, I mean, if you saw The Flash, we saw Nick Cage at the end as Superman. They obviously are capitalizing on that. They probably thought that that movie would do a little bit better, but this is not a surprise at all. But the sales did tell the tale here at number 3 pre-orders. So there you go.
Defects coming in at number 2, Batman Gargoyle of Gotham number 1, the Noir edition from DC Comics. This is just an incredible book and an instant classic in the opinions of the staff over at Comic Nation. You get the first appearance of Crytoon, a dark Joker-like character obsessed with Looney Tunes-like violence. This Noir edition will have the same release date as the main version, but there is only one variant for it, and this cover, to my understanding, did not count towards the retailer incentives. Outside high ratios, this is likely the copy to get. The staff at Comic Nation already read this, and they think it's a must-read for any Batman fan. So good that apparently Jim Lee was so excited when he read it that he ran an ash can, one free copy for every shop to get the word out and start creating the buzz. Also, the second issue of this will likely have another first appearance of a serial killer that punctures his victims with long, thin claws. So looking like a dark, violent Batman series. Be on the lookout for it, Defects.
All right, guys, and rounding out September's top pre-orders, number 1, no surprise here, Void Rivals number 4, the cover A from Image Comics / Skybound. Here's what Comic Nation has to say. This title sells like crazy for the boys over at Comic Nation. The issue has a 1 in 25 incentive spoiler cover. No clue who or what will be on it. G.I. Joe, Transformers, some other surprise. Agorians and Zentorians are the 2 Void Rivals faction. Hopefully I said that right. This appears to be the first appearance of the Zentorian leader. That should be him on the cover. It is a pretty dope cover. I love this cover. I heard that this is a great series. Clearly, the sales here on the list is showing that. The nostalgia here is real, boys. Transformers, G.I. Joe, what more could you possibly want? Guys, that wraps up the first top comic book sales video that we're doing here with Comic Nation. Again, make sure you're giving those guys a follow. Check out the website. Links are in the description below. Let them know that you show them some love on this video. They did a lot of work to get this data to us. While you're commenting, do us a favor, subscribe to us if you're new here. Hit the notification bell if you can, and give us a thumbs up. All right, hit that like button. Also, obviously, Thursday nights over on What Night, 9:45 Eastern. We got the crazy sales, and once a month on probably Saturday nights going forward, but we'll see, Friday or Saturday nights with Very Gary, the Defective Collective. So, for the Pressable Defects, the Butcher 105, and Matt Forge, catch you on the next top comic book sales. Later, Defects.